So the first card you have for your past is the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, the Ten of Pentacles can be a little bit confusing. There are a lot of different things in this card. There's so much going on in this card. Yeah, I'm actually seeing that you might have been feeling restricted in this card. Maybe this was a restriction that you had in your head. It might not have been anyone restricting you or stopping you. It might have just been something in your head. It might have started off with maybe your family or society telling you a certain thing or giving you a certain idea. But really, ultimately, this is about you and how you were feeling and what you were thinking inside your head. And I think that, you were trying to achieve something. You wanted to achieve something. You were thinking to yourself, I'd love to do this. I'd love to learn this. I'd love to do this work. I'd love to study this. I'd like to do whatever it is. Might even be learning to play the piano. Could be anything. But it's a big thing for you. This was a big thing that you wanted to achieve. And I think that maybe you had this idea in your head that time was running out for you, or that you could only do this by a certain point in time, or maybe you can only do this by a certain date or before you reached a certain age or something like that. And that's not true. You don't have to a lot of people do this to themselves. They say, oh, I can only study while I'm this age, and then after that I'm too old. Or I can't be a business owner when I'm this age. That's too young. None of it's true. None of this is true. None of it is true at all. And it can take us a really long time sometimes to achieve things. That's true. Sometimes it can take years to achieve our goals. But that time's going to pass anyway. Whether we work toward our goals or not, that time is going to pass. And so we may as well use that time to achieve what we want to do, rather than sit there and look back on that time and say, what have I done with that time? Oh, I could have done that by now. You know how quickly a year goes. You can do so much in a year. Now, I'm seeing in this card, this is exactly what I'm seeing in this card, because there's an old man in this card and he's patting a dog right in the front. So there are two dogs. He's patting one of the dogs. There's also a young child, very young child. He looks about 4 or something, and he's in the right-hand side of this card, right under one of the coins. His head's just under one of the coins, and he's patting a dog as well. He's patting the tail of a dog. So if you look at these two people, this old man and this young boy, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. One of them is obviously a very old man, and the other one is a very young boy. So they're at the opposite extremes when it comes to their age. But what are they doing? They're both doing the same thing. They're both doing the same thing. They're both patting a dog. It doesn't matter how old you are, or how young you are, or what stage of life you're at, or who you are, or where you are, or what your parents did, or what, background you had, or, anything, what country you came from, anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Different people at different life stages and different kinds of people can all do the same thing if that's what you choose to do. And, this is what this is telling you. So, if this resonates, don't let society's ideas or deadlines, or even your own perceived deadlines, stop you from achieving whatever you want to do. I mean, who cares what society says? I don't care. And you don't have to do something by this time. People say, oh, you have to study by this age, then you're at work at this time, then you buy a house at this time, then you buy this at this time, and then you retire at this time, and then rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. I mean, we're not products in a factory. We're not on a conveyor belt. We're not all the same. We're not like that. So, if there's something that you want to achieve, please start. Please just start. I mean, so many people look back on their lives and they wish that they'd done things. So don't let anything be a barrier. I've had people in my comments say, oh, I'm too old now. I'm rubbish. So I'll stop that rant. The next card you have for your past is the Wheel of Fortune. So yes, the Wheel of Fortune. Fortune's on your time. Time's on your side. You can do this if you want to. Please start. I'm also seeing this wheel as kind of, sometimes I see it doing different things, and I'm seeing this kind of turning around, like a bit like a washing machine, turning around, cycling one way, cycling back the other way on spin cycle, and it's going backwards and forwards. So what I'm seeing in this is actually not very positive. I'm sorry. I'm seeing a love situation. And this is like a love situation that you actually moved on from. So this is a breakup you had, you moved on from this. Now you moved on physically from this, but actually moving on in your heart was a different thing. So sometimes I think you were going through a process. You've been through this breakup, you'd moved on, but you still had a way to go. I think you were still going through things. And yeah, you're going along, maybe you're walking down the road, maybe you're driving, maybe you're at work or you're doing something and you felt fine. You were like, oh, if I never hear from them again, it's fine. I don't mind. Whatever, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then sometimes out of nowhere, you had this overwhelming sad feeling that would come in and you would just feel terrible. You're like, oh, no, why am I feeling like this? So, if this resonates with you and you have had this happen to you, when you feel like that, it doesn't mean that you've gone back to square one. It doesn't mean that you're not over the person. It just means that you're in the middle of this process. Be kind to yourself when you feel like that. Just remember that you're going through a process and you're not at the start of it. You're not at square one. You're not at the end of it either. You're in the middle of it, and these things are going to happen. This is just normal. So just recognize what it is. When the cycle comes around and you feel like that again, just say to yourself, I recognize that I feel like this. I don't like it very much. I'm just going to take care of myself because I know this is going to be over. And when it's over, I'll feel much better. That's all you can do when you're going through this, is to say this to yourself. But don't ever think to yourself that you're not over this, or that you're going back to where you were at the beginning of the breakup. You're not doing that. You're just getting some waves of feeling that come back, and this is going to happen to you from time to time as you're going through this process, and that's a motorbike. Go away. So the last card you have for your past is Death. So yes, don't feel as if you'll never be able to totally move on. You will be able to move on. The Death card is all about moving on to new things, putting old things away, moving on to new things. And I know it can be really hard to believe that, you will get through this when you're going through it. But you will get through this. There might still be a few little things around you that might be preventing you from moving on. But I don't think you want to hold on to this person. I think you still might have a few things that you kind of want to hold on to. Maybe one of the things might have been the future that you thought you were going to have with this person. But that's just something that was in your mind. It's not actually something that's real. The other thing I'm seeing is that maybe you were hoping that they were going to change, but they're just not going to do that. The person you were hoping they were going to be really doesn't exist. That sounds really harsh, but that's what I'm seeing, and I think deep down you kind of knew this. Your head knows this, but maybe your heart isn't quite caught up yet, but it's going through a process. It's definitely getting there, and you're going to come to the end of this. And yeah, if this resonates, I know this is really difficult. This is very difficult, but this is the Death card. And going through this can be like a grieving process. When I look at this Death card, that's what I'm seeing, grief. But I don't want to emphasize the word grief. I want to emphasize the word process, grieving process. When you're grieving, it's a process. It's horrible, it's terrible, but as you go through that process, the times where you feel sad and upset become less and less frequent. It's not that you forget the person, it's not that you don't want them. I'm talking about real grief, proper grief, when you actually lose someone. You eventually come to a place where you're a bit more at peace about it. You feel a bit better. You're at the end of the process. And that's what happens in a breakup. Obviously, it's different, but it's a process that you go through. You have times that are difficult, times that are terrible, times where you think that I'm not going to be able to get through this. This Death card is telling me that you will get through this. and you're going to come out of the other side of this process. So just keep going. Take care of yourself when you go through these bad times, and you'll get through it. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have for your present is the Sun. Beautiful, beautiful card. And this is fantastic to come after the Death card, or anything else really, but especially the Death card, I think, because this is showing you you're going to come out of that. You're going to come out of that into the Sun. And I think something is going to happen to you very quickly, and it might jolt you out of this sad feeling and push you into being completely 100% over this X. Because if you look at the child in this card, on this horse, it's broken through a wall. It's broken through a barrier. And so obviously this is a positive breakthrough that's happening here, because the Sun is a very, very positive card. So this could be something that around this thing that you want to achieve, you might have someone come and say to you, oh, I've got this opportunity. Would you like to pursue this? And it's around exactly the thing you want to do. Or it could be someone that offers you a job, or it could be someone that offers you experience, or opens something up to you in that. And, focused and hard work can really definitely take you out of an old mindset and into a new one. And, this is in the present, but I don't think this breakthrough's happened yet, but I think it will happen to you. And it's going to push you into concentrating on this thing that you want to achieve. So this is very positive. This is really good. I'm also seeing that, this is probably going to sound a bit strange, but I'll tell you what I'm seeing. Okay, there's a saying, or there's something that either your father or an older man, it might have been a father figure, used to say to you, and maybe they said it to a lot of other people as well, but they used to say it to you. This is like a saying or a piece of advice or something like that. And, if this resonates, try to think about what this could be. Think about this, try to remember what this is. Remembering this, I think, and thinking about this, contemplating this, thinking about what it means, how it applies to you, this might inspire you to actually find this breakthrough and break through that. I hope that makes sense. This is a very positive thing for you, and it's going to really resonate with you if you remember what that saying is, and it's going to really apply to you and push you forward. So the next card you have for your present is Strength. So yeah, you have some really, really amazing cards in your present. And again, I keep on seeing this saying or whatever this is. And again, try to remember what this is. This is a really important piece of wisdom coming from this older male figure. And once you remember what this is, and you think about this, and you take it with you, you're always going to have this with you in everything you do. There's an infinity symbol over this woman's head. So you're going to have this in your head all the time, and you're going to remember this all the time once you've remembered what this is. And it's going to be helping you, and it's going to be encouraging you in whatever you want to do. And I'm just seeing this man, whoever this man was, he wasn't always the most calm person. He wasn't always the most rational person. You might have clashed with them a few times in your more distant past, maybe more than once. But whether you clash with them or not, they still have this really, really important piece of advice for you. And try to remember what this is. This is golden advice. Once you remember what this is and you embrace what this is, it's going to influence your whole life and your whole world really, really positively. And, just like this golden sky in the background of this card, it's going to make your whole world golden. It's going to give you a whole new perspective, if that makes sense. So the last card you have for your present is the Ace of Pentacles. A beautiful card. Look at these cards, the Sun, Strength, and the Ace of Pentacles. This is absolutely beautiful. And you have the Four of Wands beside it as well. This is a fantastic reading. And I think this is the time that you're going to start to pursue this thing that you want to achieve in the Ten of Pentacles. I'm seeing this as something that might be very different from anything you've ever done before. It might be very different from anything that's happened in your family background or anyone around you. You're doing something completely different. And because of that, there might be some misunderstandings coming from your family around this. There might even be some ignorance coming from them about what you want to do. It might be that, for example, you might want to become a musician, and they might say to you, oh, you can't be a musician, you'll never earn any money, you're going to be drunk and drugged, and you're going to end up on the footpath falling over. No. They don't have a very good understanding of what you want to do. They don't really understand. So, because, if you look at this family again in the Ten of Pentacles, they're together, but they're not communicating properly. They're misunderstanding. So there's a misunderstanding between what you want to do and, how they see what you want to do. But don't let this stop you. Again, this is about not letting society, family, your background or anything stop you from doing what you want to do. I'm sorry, I've got a sniffy nose because I've got a bit of a hay fever thing. But yeah, I'm seeing a group around this thing that you want to do. Now, this might be a group that you join to learn. It might just be a group that gets together that has this shared thing that they like. But it is to do with learning or training or something like that. And I'm seeing that if you join this group, which you probably will do, there are 3 specific people in this group, and I think you'll click instantly with these people. You really get along with them. And I'm also seeing with one of these people, there's potential new love here. This is someone who obviously you have this shared interest, so it's fantastic. This is someone who really understands what you want to do and understands you. And this is going to start off probably as a friendship. And I'm seeing things progressing slowly with this between you, but this is going to turn into a very stable connection. This is fantastic. This is the Ace of Pentacles. This is the most fantastic thing ever. So, this is leading to a lot of amazing things for you. So follow this path, follow what you want to do. And it's not only going to lead you to this thing you want to achieve, but it's going to lead to other things as well. So the first card you have for your future is Justice. So yeah, this thing that you want to achieve might be something around, it might not be, but I'm just seeing in this card quite often I see art or design or architecture or something visual, something that's beautiful to look at or something that's interesting to look at. Because quite often when I see the Justice card, I see kind of pillars balancing and kind of things being symmetrical and balanced and beautiful to look at, all of that kind of thing. I'm also seeing that you might be in a situation where you have to calm yourself or stop yourself from overreacting. This can be a warning about not seeking justice for yourself in a kind of a reactive way yourself. Let justice take its course. Let karma, I can't think of a better word to say than that. I don't like using that word, but let it take its course. Don't kind of put justice to action yourself, if that makes sense. Because I'm seeing there might be someone who's around this ex, might be a friend, might be a relative of this ex. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to start to say a whole lot of things. They're not going to be very honest. Now, they might not be completely dishonest. It might be something like they have a story, they say something and they embellish it to make it ridiculous and not true. Now, you might look at this and it might be on social media or you might hear about this and you might be tempted to rush in and say, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. This is a warning to you. Don't put justice into your own hands. Leave them for other people to deal with or other things or circumstances to deal with. Because if you start engaging in anyone that's close to this axe in the Wheel of Fortune, it might actually set you back again emotionally. Now, you're coming so far. You're in the middle of this process. You're not at the end yet, but you're getting there. Don't let anything put you backwards again. Just ignore the whole thing. Turn it off if you want to. If it's on social media, block them, block anything, or mute it, or don't look at it. Don't let this affect you. That's what I'm seeing. The next card you have for your future is the Four of Wands. So yeah, this is a beautiful card. This is about welcoming. That's what I'm seeing. Feeling welcome. Getting advice I'm seeing in this card. I'm seeing somebody helping you, someone who you feel totally comfortable being around. And I think you're probably going to be talking to this person about This might be a friend. This is someone who you're really, really comfortable around. You're going to be talking to them about this incident. I'm seeing the Justice card. And I think you're right to talk about them rather than go in all guns blazing with whoever it is that said this. This is a more, this is a much safer outlet for you to vent in. This is a much better place for you to offload this to this friend. And they're a very comforting person. They're a good listener. They're going to help you. I'm also seeing this person is a very funny person as well, this friend. So they're not only going to listen and help you, what they're going to do is they're going to take your mind off things by saying funny things and talking about other stuff. And so it's really going to put this into perspective. And you're going to realize, you know, I don't have to worry about this ex. I don't have to worry about this silly person around them or whatever. I've got great friends. I've got this opportunity in front of me. I've got so much positivity there, so many possibilities. I'm not even going to think about them anymore. And this is fantastic. This is really positive, obviously. So the last card you have for your future is the Ace of Wands. You have 2 aces in this reading. This is huge. Now, yeah, again, this is a fantastic reading. And I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself again. And I don't mean to sound like that, but this is what I'm seeing. The Ace of Wands is about action, it's about passion, it's about fire. Please take action with this thing that you want to pursue if you haven't already. Please take steps toward this, join this group that I was seeing, do whatever you need to do, start taking steps to do that, ignore people who don't like the idea. And this is going to lead you to so much more than what you want to achieve. Again, I'm seeing this is going to lead you to new friends, a group of people who understand you, probably something quite lucrative because you have the Ace of Pentacles, a great work, a really interesting thing you're going to be doing. And it has the possibility of opening up new love for you. Please do not hold back on this. That's what I'm seeing.